So where do you go when you want to enjoy a fresh alpine lake like a local, but you also need to get in some truly breathtaking views and, hey, maybe a little Viking village? Well, that's going to be Walchensee, of course, the alpine lake geared for outdoor adventure. Alright, public transportation time. So there are two main ways towards Walchensee. If you watched our previous video, then you'll know we're doing a 3-day tour and are actually starting in Mittenwald, which made getting to the lake a breeze. All we had to do was hop on a bus to Walgau, change there, and get on the very next bus to Walchensee. What about from Munich though? In our classic single day trip format? Well, it's just as easy. Start at the Munich Central Station, take the RB train in the direction of Kochel, riding it all the way to the end of the line, then transfer immediately onto the awaiting bus in the direction of Garmisch-Partenkirchen. However, no matter which direction you come from though, make sure to get off at the Walchensee Herzogstandbahn bus stop, where you'll find yourself just across the road from the cable car parking lot, ready for the fun to start. Just like in our Karwendelspitze video, there was a pretty long line for the cable car, so do arrive with plenty of time to spare. In all, we waited for about 35 minutes, though the brave and strong among you could instead opt for the 4-hour hike to the peak, and more power to you. But you know, the gondola tickets were only 15 euros per adult, and I've got a video to make, so I opted to wait, though I would more than love to come back and hike it proper on another day. Alright, now that we've gotten off the cable car, unlike a lot of the other hikes that we've done with cable cars, we've still got a 40-minute walk to get to the peak. So let's get going. Follow the signs towards the Herzogstand peak. You can't miss it. I mean, everyone's going in the same direction anyway, right? And I doubt you'll be alone. It'll take you about 10 minutes to hit the Gasthaus, a reasonable place to get some food and beer while basking in those awesome views, but I can't help feel as though we just haven't earned it yet, you know? So save it for the way back instead, and continue to follow along the path towards the imposing looking switchbacks. It'll all be worth it though, don't worry. As perhaps the thumbnail has already spoiled, this peak gives an amazing eastern view of Kochelsee and Walchensee. So let's crush this ascent and get to it. Alright, so please do forgive me for not recording at the top. It's kind of windy up there and everyone's enjoying their packed lunches, and I just don't want to ruin it by kind of talking to you guys and bringing attention to myself. This isn't a bad view though, I think you can enjoy it. It shows the trail that we've done today, and I think that's really exciting. Now, time for impressions on the hike itself. And overall, of all the different peaks I've been to in Bavaria, this one has the highest diversity of options for like what to look at. You've got the lowland mountains near you. Over to the south, you've got all like the really high peaks in Austria. If you look over to the north, you see Bavaria's complete flatland and the lakes in Starnberg going over to Munich. There's just so much to look at. And of course, the stars of the show, Walchensee and Kochelsee, we've actually got these two awesome lakes butted right up next to each other. Make for awesome panoramas. But bring a wide-angle lens if you want to get both, because they're not that close. But now though, since we've seen it all, it's time to get back down those switchbacks to the cable car and visit the towns themselves. I'm sure they'll have some good treats too. Plus, it'll be nice to get close to the lakes. Let's go. Once down, you might be kind of tempted to believe the day is over, and after our exercise and those breathtaking views, you indeed could head home feeling perfectly fulfilled. But don't. Instead, waltz across the street to cool off on the lakeshore, in a grassy meadow nestled right up to the water where many will sit and enjoy the view or plunge into those cold alpine waters. If you're feeling a little peckish, like I am, then you'll head for the Strand Cafe Bucher. It's picturesque with a large garden for you to sit and snack. The menu's pretty limited, but it's also not biting off any more than it can chew, opting for a traditional Bavarian Brotzeit fare, which will mostly be, coffee, cake, brezen, some sausages, that kind of stuff. Lastly then, if you've still got room for a little bit more adventure, head a little further down the street towards the Viking village. Though don't let me oversell it, this is no tentpole activity. Instead, just the mere transported and preserved leftovers from the movie Vicky and the Strongmen that was shot here back in 2008. It's cute against the beautiful Walchensee backdrop, and best of all, it's completely free. So, check it out if you're here, just don't think it's any more than it is. Now, enjoy the rest of the B-roll, and I'll see you in the conclusion to wrap it up. Hey everybody, so we're back in Munich after getting to hang out all day at Walchensee. And I'm really excited because not only was it a fantastic trip, but this is also kind of the beginning of our lake series, which I keep mentioning. So like and subscribe so you can check them all out, because ultimately Bavaria's got a ton of lakes in it, right? But are they different? Well, I think so. Sure, they've got a lot in common. They are Bavarian lakes. But I think each one's kind of got a different activity, a different vibe, and a different twist that'll make it better for some, worse for others, and ultimately it's really important to know the differences when you're planning your itinerary. So let's get into it for Walchensee. And why should you go? What's kind of the shtick of this lake?
Yeah, so I think this is a really good lake for people who are looking for that quintessential Bavarian lake experience, but they also want to insert a little bit of adventure and excitement and physical activity into the experience. A lot of the lakes that you'll see in the area that we plan on covering in the future, like Tegernsee and Chiemsee, they're very relaxed. There's a lot of shopping and just general chilling. This one is really focused on outdoor activities, and I think that's sort of exemplified in the Herzogstand Peak that you saw us do at the beginning of the video, because I know we say this every time, but it really does have fantastic views. Personally, I think they're the best that we've probably seen thus far, and it's at a really low bar too. You just take the $15 cable car up, really good price as far as I've experienced, and then a 40-minute hike to the peak itself. Plus there are like hours of other hikes that we didn't have time to do because we were filming that I do plan on doing, because I think it's at a really good elevation, right? This isn't a Zugspitze, Karwendelspitze sort of situation where you're so high up that it could be dangerous if you're not careful, or that you might have to clip into or need special climbing gear for. But it's not super low like around Tegernsee and Chiemsee. So you're just sort of up at this perfect level where you don't have to worry too much about safety, but you get really, really good views. But that's sort of the outdoorsy aspect around the peak here. But what about the lakefront? What did you think about that?
Right, it's important to discuss the lake as well, though definitely you go for the Herzogstand. Yeah. Now, the shorefront itself, kind of like what you said, it's going to be the same kind of clientele. It's going to be outdoor enthusiasts, right? They don't have that massive shopping infrastructure. They had one cafe, and they had a cool Viking village, but it takes like 10 minutes to get through that. And then when you actually get to the beach zone that they have, well, there's no wading, right? There's no sand, there's no beachy vibes. Some people were there for picnics, but they'd been up the mountain first. They weren't tired from swimming, they were tired from hiking. And the other type of people that was, I've done a bunch of windsurfers, right? A lot of water sport kind of people going out there and enjoying it. And it shows in the beach itself, because it just had this drop off. So there was no way for you to really interact with it other than just kind of plunging in, which is not perfect in those icy waters. But that kind of covers it. I don't think it's worth going there just for the lakefront. Yeah. But I think if you've gone up the mountain, well, then you're going to go to the lakefront, and it fits that perfectly. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree. So if you're really into these Bavarian lake videos, we've got more of them coming up. So please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram to get updates on that.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.